Good evening, guys. 20th of July 2019, 7:30 p.m. CET. Piotr here, and this is a CryptoMarketFlow land of trading market update. Actually, CryptoMarketFlow is back, and it's really back. So hopefully you are going to enjoy what we are going to provide for you. Especially that's gonna be charts, crypto charts, and some kind of the education as well as some kind of the news. Anyway, let's start with risk warning, guys. Please bear in mind trading crypto on margins carry a high level of risk, may not be suitable for investors who can sustain a some or your initial investment. So please do not invest the money that you cannot afford to lose. Seek education, gain experience before risking real money. However, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. All right. So what we have today, I'm going to discuss Bitcoin versus US dollar with you, and then we are going to switch for a second to Bitcoin Ethereum chart. So let's start with Bitcoin US dollar. Guys, I've been, maybe you are following me, I'm doing some videos, market research for different entities as well. I'm doing for few brokers, so maybe you've heard already this. Anyway, taking into the consideration what we've seen previously based on the monthly chart on Bitcoin, right? This huge rally over here, right? Then we had some kind of the pullbacks, and first two was equal or almost equal in size, right? Oops, sorry. So first two was equal in size, right? Then we had the third one. Of course, it wasn't that equal. It couldn't be, because otherwise we would went to zero. Anyway, first two was equal, and then we had some following move to the downside, another two waves with this big breakdown below 6,000, retest of the 3,500, etc., right? So that's how it looks from the monthly chart, and of course all of you know this. But what I've been trying to do, I've been trying to make or move what's happened on this monthly into the daily chart. And guys, if we agree that we hit the stop, if you are going to check, we hit the levels around 14,000, and many was asking why we made the pullback right after hitting this high. And guys, if you are going to check, if you are going to make your homework, it was around 2018 yearly open, right? So that was one of the reason why actually we probably stopped here. Now, if you remember what we were discussing a second ago based on what we've seen on the monthly, so now guys, look what we have here on the daily, right? Boom. Okay, so we already moved the partial, if we are going to want to move from monthly to daily, right? So already we had those two equal waves to the downside. Now, if that's gonna be the case, we can try to predict. Of course, it's not gonna work 100% of the time, right? But it depends. If you are a bull on bear, it might show you what to expect, right? So in that case, if you are going to make similar move to the upside as the first bounce after the initial rejection around the 2018 open, right? So as you can see, 12,500 might be the key. There are few reasons also on that chart why this might be the reaction point in case we are going to get there, right? For example, if we are going to draw the trend line, it might be the retest of the falling trend line, right? Remember, we need 2 points to start to draw the trend line, right? So usually again, it's not working 100% of the time, but usually when you have this type of the retest, you have any kind of the reaction around this point. So there you go. That could be the case also. And I did it for in June for one of the broker. I held 3 educational webinars in June, but I'm going to do this exclusively for CryptoMarketFlow as well. There is one more thing. If you are familiar with swing trading, right? So also this point over here is equal to this possible swing high as well, right? So in that case, we have few logical things to expect, at least some kind of the reaction. I'm not saying we are going to go much lower, but at least to see the reaction around this 12,500. But I think we are going to see, based on what we discussed a second ago on the monthly chart, I think we are going to see from, if we are going to follow that plan, right? If market will trade that plan we are discussing right now, because there are plenty of different possibilities. But if we are going to trade that one, I think we are going to make another similar in size wave to the downside from 12,500. And if we are going to check what we have, again, we are going to see here on this daily chart that is very, very logical to retest 8,500, 8,200, right? Because of what we've seen here and here, right? And there was one more thing I'm going to discuss when we are going to prepare educational video. There was at some point in the past, right, many of, let's call them edu guys, they were trying to call this formation over here to the right as a head and shoulders, right, which was broken to the upside. I'm going to explain also why it's so important, this 8,500, 8,200 over the course of the educational upcoming video. So I do expect, trying to summarize, right, I do expect we might see higher levels from here, right, especially that looks like we created the swing low over here, especially what we've seen on Thursday, the strong move back above 10,000, right? Some were trying to explain it was because of the eBay CEO comment, right, that the blockchain has a bright future as well as Bitcoin. So we saw this strong move to the upside. But you know what? It was visible one day earlier, 2 days earlier, that we may try to create the swing low. So in that case, trying to summarize Bitcoin versus US dollar, all right, briefly. I do expect we are going to try to move towards 12,000, 12,500, and then we will try to move back down, trying to hit some stops, even to trying to create the flag, right? Trying to create the bullish flag. So we have to have 3 and then eventually move higher. So we have to switch right now to the smaller time frame in case you are a bull, in case you are a bear, what you should look for here, right? So give me a second, please. Let's switch to the 2-hour charts and let's have a look what we have. So in case you are a bull, I know that some may like to call this one as inverted head and shoulders. You know, inverted head and shoulders, there are reversing formation at the very top and the very bottom. This is not the very bottom, so we may try to call it something similar to inverted head and shoulders, but not head and shoulders. Anyway, I think we are going to see some kind of the failure around 11,200 and see stronger pullback to try to force the weakest longs to cover, right? And I think it's not gonna be inverted head and shoulders as some may call. But I do prefer to use the name of the over-under in relation to what we have here, right? Just shy below 10,000. So I do expect there is a psychological and logical level to try to push lower, to try to force the weakest longs to cover, and then from here 12,000, 12,500, and then this big move to the downside towards 8,500, 8,200, and then I'm huge fan, right? I'm huge fan. So let's call it to the moon. All right. So that's how I see them. That's how I see them. Bitcoin versus USD. Trying to summarize. Bulls should be patient here, right? Look for retest of 10,200, 9,800. Try to go long towards 12,000, 12,500, and the shorts also have to be patient, waiting for 12,000, 12,500 to try to go short, try to take the advantage of what we discussed here towards 8,500, 8,200. All right, so hopefully we are done with Bitcoin versus USD, and of course we are going to try to update it daily. Let's have a look what we have, as I mentioned, in relation to Ethereum versus Bitcoin. All right, because now you are going to see that there is some kind of the connection to what we discussed on Bitcoin dollar. There is some kind of the relation to what we are going to discuss here on Ethereum Bitcoin, right? Because everyone for quite some time was trying to tell us that we are about to start altcoins mooning, right? But unfortunately, stronger Bitcoin bloodbath on the altcoin side here, and we haven't seen, excluding few, we haven't seen huge rallies, right? I would say that yeah, we saw prices going lower and lower. But now there is the only chart that I can see when we are trying to connect lows, right? You have some nice level here, and if you are going to try to use that other altcoins versus Bitcoin, I went through many of them, and all those lower trend lines, when you are trying to connect the bottoms, we are still far away from the bottom, right? Only here, only on Ethereum versus Bitcoin, it looks like we might have a chance here. So what I mentioned before when we are discussing Bitcoin versus USD, I've mentioned that we need 2 points, right, to try to draw the trend line, right? So we have those 2 points. Here and here. And now we have retest. Now, if my way of thinking is correct, right, we should see some kind of the reaction. And actually, if you are going to look closer, we are trying to, for a 5th day, we're trying to react around 0.2, right? So it's also psychological level, don't you think? So 0.2, in case we are going to hold that level, right? We might see initial rally towards the previous swing low, triple bottom breakthrough. We are talking about 0.025. So in that case, it's something around 25% rally possible, right? I don't think we are going to go straight. We are going to see more consolidation, and finally, if we are going to retest 0.02 and we are going to hold, then we might see a little bit Ethereum rally versus Bitcoin. In other words, we might see altcoins rally, all altcoins rally as well. So we might see those warmer days from the altcoin perspective. So if you are trading altcoins, right, I think it might be worth to watch what is going on here when we are talking about the Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Guys, thank you very much. That was the fast update. We were talking about Bitcoin, USD, Ethereum, Bitcoin. Don't be trapped. I'm going to get back to you tomorrow. Take care. Goodbye.